Hey there, and welcome to your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan. I'm J.R. Stays, and it's Wednesday, March 30th, 2022 as I record this. Also, the studio window is open. Just a little bit of spring. It feels great. All right, today's show is in two parts. First, we'll do a little bit of a headline roundup of stories around town, and then we'll be talking about a new World War II memorial in Royal Oak that will be breaking ground probably as you're listening to this show, and it'll be ready in about 4 months for the public. All right, let's get started. The longtime Zamboni driver and operations manager for the Detroit Red Wings is out of a job. El Sabatka is locally famous for his barbecue for players and octopus handling skills, but there are more questions and answers right now about his sudden departure after more than half a century of service dating back to the old Olympia. The Detroit Housing Commission isn't answering questions. The villages at Parkside, built in the 1930s as Parkside homes, are falling apart at East Warren and Connor. It seems to be a case of lack of oversight and privatization gone wrong. Highland Park wants to have their own high school again. For the last decade or so, children have been going to the Detroit Public Schools Community District. Former Detroit Police Chief Ralph Godbey has left the race for the 13th congressional seat, saying he does not want to split the black vote. It's a busy field in an open district that now covers the Grosse Pointes, much of Detroit, Wyandotte, and western Wayne cities like Taylor and Romulus. Also, a challenge to the new redistricting maps for these congressional seats was thrown out of court. The complaint was that the maps give too much advantage to Republicans. Hazel Park joined Detroit and Ann Arbor in decriminalizing entheogenic plants and magic mushrooms as the concept gains momentum statewide. Now in transit news, the Q Line will be free to ride for the rest of the year and get some enhancements. The free rides to encourage use are being paid for by the Penske Corporation and Kresge Foundation. There is a spiffy new website with real-time updates as to when the streetcar will show up. Signal priority is coming at 26 intersections on Woodward, which means that the streetcar and the traffic signals would sync up. And in case you missed it, they installed Michigan's first and only dedicated transit lane in front of Little Caesars Arena earlier this year. The Detroit People Mover is getting ready to relaunch, but to keep rolling soon, it'll need $100 million in investment in new cars. It still uses the originals from 35 years ago. And finally, Macomb County Commissioners are working to allow for individual cities to opt out of SMART, the suburban bus system. The Board of Trustees of one of the Tri-County area's fastest-growing communities, Macomb Township, seems to want out. You can get links to all these stories and more at dailydetroit.substack.com. Joining me virtually, John Mayton. He's the president of the Michigan World War II Legacy Memorial. Welcome to Daily Detroit.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So this is quite the project, up on Woodward Avenue. Can you give listeners a little bit of background on the scale of this thing in case they don't know? Because, I'm glad that this is happening and honoring people, but it's also in a great spot.
Our organization started as Honor Flight Michigan back 2007, where we were providing one-day trips, all expense-paid trips for World War II veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the World War II memorial there. And after we took 33 flights, about 1,400 veterans, the waiting list was basically exhausted, and we kind of looked at what can we do next. And we realized that there is no dedicated World War II memorial in Michigan. And with Michigan being such an integral part in World War II, not only with the veterans, but also with the Arsenal of Democracy and the other significant contributions across the state, that it really, to honor the veterans and to educate current and future generations about it, we really wanted to have this memorial. So the concept was developed to put a dedicated World War II memorial in Memorial Park in Royal Oak. And ironically enough, there is no actual memorial in Memorial Park yet. It was named that after World War II in honor of the Michigan war dead. But there's never an official memorial built. There were some trees that were planted in their honor, but not a real memorial.
That's crazy to me, even statewide, because such the impact. Michigan before World War II and Michigan after. Two different places.
Right. Well, there was such It's so many things that when you looked at Michigan, and that's why we want to make sure that for this memorial, we look at not just the war front, but also the home front and all the significant contributions. From Rosie the Riveter to other stories that are maybe lesser known about milkweed pods that were picked and processed in a plant in Petoskey that were used for the filling for the life vests because the K-Pack that was used at that time was from the Indies and they were being occupied by the Japanese. So there are so many stories like that that really are lesser known, but were obviously very important to the whole war effort. So the memorial design, what we are groundbreaking for this at this point is the first phase, which will have paver bricks that have been donated by several people in honor of their loved ones. There's about 1,200 so far that have been donated, and we have room for more. We also have a full size statue of who we call Joe. He's a soldier in a foxhole reading a letter from home. And we will also have flags representing all of the branches of the service in the memorial. This phase will also prepare us for future phases. There's a footing being put in for a granite wall that will be 10 feet high, 50 feet long, that will face woodward there at 13 Mile or just north of 13 Mile. And the backside is a wall of stars representing the 15,458 lives lost in World War II from Michigan. And that is our next fundraising goal, is to move towards that.
So the wall is part of a future phase. What are you looking to raise to make that happen?
Okay, we need to raise about additional $300,000 in order to make the wall a reality. We have a start on that, in part helped by a grant from the state this year, but we still need a large portion of that. The foundation for the wall is being put in this first phase, so we don't disturb anything else, and hopefully we can get that money very quickly and get the wall up as soon as possible.
And then, something that kind of struck me in conversation, outside of when we were recording, there's a different number of branches of the military than there were in World War II. So what flags are you putting up and what are your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, part of this first phase is having flags of all of the branches of the service, including the Merchant Marines. The Merchant Marines' efforts and contributions during World War II were huge, and the losses were high. So it's definitely somebody that served that we want to recognize. But in addition, we are going to have the flags of all of the current branches of the service. Obviously, during World War II, there weren't as many branches, but they have grown into that, such as the Army Air Corps, now the Air Force, and of course with the addition of Space Force, which when you look back at the initiation of our space program, rockets and such, a lot of that was research and the work that was done during World War II. So it's a natural outgrowth and a part of the education of what happened during World War II and why it's so critical even today.
Mm. And it kind of makes it more of a living memorial, right?
That's the idea, is to make it a living memorial, to look at the past, honor the past, learn the lessons, and moving forward so we don't make the same mistakes and can, like you said, really move into the future with this.
For you, I mean, how long has it been for you to put this together and get to this groundbreaking?
Well, this effort really started about 2010, the planning for it, and 2012 is when I think some of the more of the details were worked out. So it's been several years in the making, and of course the last couple of years really got kind of short circuited with COVID and all, and that's where we made the decision to build this in phases so that we could get some things started and make sure that we have some World War II veterans and others that were involved in World War II to be able to see this become a reality.
There are so many lessons to learn from the conflict and the way that we came together. Although a horrible conflict, there are also so many ways that we as a nation pulled together to make this happen, to basically pull through.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about how Michigan was a very different place, before and after the war. And, even to this day, a lot of those things, continue on. And that is a big part of this memorial, is not just this initial phase, but to really build the rest of it, where we also have additional statues we have the models for, but they haven't been, the full-size ones are not made yet, of, for example, Rosie the Riveter and a Tuskegee Airman. We also have a sailor watching on watch is another statue, and one that the parents are listening to the radio to the Joe statue that's going in. Kind of listening to the radio about news of the war and showing the distance, the separation of them when you look at the full memorial design. So if people want to see the full memorial design, it is online at our website, michiganww2memorial.org.
Yeah, and I have been looking at some of the renderings and such, and people are going to be able to really see it on a regular basis. It's not tucked away. It's like right on Woodward, right?
Correct. It's just north of 13 Mile in Memorial Park, and it's kind of on the north end of the park, and the parking lot for it is on Woodward.
So what are your goals going forward? Kind of what's the road ahead?
So with this groundbreaking, we hope that we can generate some more interest and get some more sponsorships to be able to move on with some of these future phases. We're also very grateful to the city of Royal Oak, who has allowed us to use this part of the park for this memorial. And we will build a memorial, and it remains owned by the city of Royal Oak, so they will maintain the grounds in perpetuity for us. But it is important to really improve and add activities to the park, because that park sees so many other things, and this just becomes another piece in that park of something that you can do. And it's an educational place that we want people to be able to come, contemplate, and learn about all of these other stories of Michigan.
I mean, it's a great combination of outdoor space and education, and a credit to the city of Royal Oak for putting and committing the resources to keep that going.
Yeah, they've worked very well with us, and it's this is a Michigan memorial. It has been recognized by the legislature as the official tribute to World War II for the state. So we do have that designation. And with its location at 13 Woodward, it's easily accessible from a large area pretty quickly from the different freeways, from especially anywhere in the Metro Detroit area, you can get to it. And we hope that school groups and other groups will come and have activities there, and enjoy the park.
So if people want to know more or get involved, where can they go?
Okay, so our website is michiganww2memorial.org. And on that site, you can learn about the history of our organization. You can learn about the other aspects of the memorial and the renderings that you mentioned. And there's also different ways in which people can donate and volunteer as well. We're always looking for more volunteers to help us.
Well, we're done for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy what we're doing, there's a couple things you could do. You could leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. The 5 stars really does help us out. Or you could consider buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/dailydetroit. It really does help out. All right, with that, I'm Jer Stays. Remember that you are somebody, and I'll see you around Detroit.